Morning, everybody. Bodge in the woods, back in the woods. I am in the Grayson Highlands of Virginia. I'm at the Dickey Gap trailhead, about 50 miles from Damascus, Virginia. I'm going to be doing a southbound hike, probably 2.5 days or so. In fact, it's Saturday morning. I'll get on the trail probably around 7:15 to 7:20, hoping to make it to the Thomas Knob shelter today. That's about 20 miles. Tomorrow, I think it's the Saunders shelter, maybe another 20 miles or close to it, and then I'll have an easy 10 miles into Damascus on Monday morning. My beautiful wife is going to come up and meet me on Monday, and we're going to spend the day in Damascus and in the night in the Bear Tree Campground. And then we are actually going to ride the Creeper Trail on Tuesday, July the 4th. Beautiful weekend. We do have some rain, well, at least expected, maybe for today. But it's supposed to be clear mostly for tomorrow and Monday, so looking forward to good weather. Again, the Dickey Gap trailhead. There's really no designated parking here, though the rangers did tell me that it's okay to park on the side of the road in a couple of places, and I'll show you where I park my vehicles. But anyway, we're about 5 miles out of Troutdale, Virginia, about probably 40 miles from Damascus, give or take. The Hurricane Mountain Campground, I believe it is not far from here, and there is some parking available there. If these spaces along the highway or along the pull-off here, you can see a couple of vehicles over there. One of those is mine. Anyway, looking forward to a beautiful day today. I'll report back to you when I get on the trail, but again, I just wanted to say good morning and a special shout out to my nephews. Alright, here you go. Once again, there's where we're parked. Not 100 feet ahead. That's where the AT heads off to the south. There's the trail marker. A little bit of downhill, or at least flat ground. By the way, there's the laurel in bloom. I'm sorry, that's the rhodo. Yeah, duh. Rhododendrons in bloom. More of it up there. Spectacular. Beautiful. It's just, you know, I was in Georgia about a month ago. Well, in fact, it was a little over a month ago. That was Memorial Day weekend, and the rhodo and the laurel. Here you go. Here's your sign. Comers Creek Falls 1 mile, Hurricane Campground probably 3 miles, and Route 603 8.5 miles. I'm going to go to 12 miles beyond 803. But anyway, the rhodo and the mountain laurel were blooming on top of Blood Mountain when I was in Georgia, but I did not realize it, but they obviously bloom at higher elevations first, because none of the laurel or the rhododendron was blooming in lower elevations, just on Blood Mountain. It was interesting. But rhodo's really popping up here. So, looking forward to seeing a lot of that, getting a lot of shots of that for Pam. Let me give you a rundown on my gear. I'm back to using my Z-Packs Arc Haul backpack. That pack served me well in the JMT last year. In fact, I took it again, as I told you guys earlier this year, on that section hike from Neal's Gap to Amicalola Falls, and I've got it again this morning. I like the fact that the arc suspension keeps the pack away from my back, so a little more opportunity to breathe back there, less sweat. Anyway, that's the backpack I'm taking. I measured my pack, or weighed my pack last night. I've got 2.5 days of food just in case. It probably won't need quite 2.5 days, but I've got it just in case. And I've got about 1.5 liters of water, so right now my pack is just under 24 pounds, like 23.7 pounds, and that's including carrying my Garcia Bear canister. I've just begun taking it almost every time I go out. It's the thing I love about the Bear canister. I don't have to worry about where I'm going to hang my food bag or anything, and it's a nice little camp seat when I get to camp if nothing else is available. So I use it almost every time. Yeah, it does add about a pound, pound and a half to my pack weight over my Ursack, or even over just a standard food bag, but in my opinion, it's worth it. Anyway, that pack weight includes, I'm I'll be hammock camping this time. I've checked a couple of different sites and also viewed a couple of videos, and there's plenty of trees around. Even though I'm going to be in the Grayson Highlands, and a lot of the Grayson Highlands, I'm sure you know, is not above tree line, but there's not a lot of trees up there. I have checked, and there are plenty of trees around the Thomas Knob and Saunders shelter, so I won't have any problem finding a place to hang my hammock. But I've got my war bonnet Blackbird. I've got my hammock gear tarp. I just bought a brand new Wilderness Logix budget summer top quilt. Great thing about this top quilt is it's about the same weight as their standard top quilt. The difference is they use a blend of goose down and duck down. So, you know, the feel is a little heavier, but you still get basically the same temperature rating, and it saves $25, $30, $40 per quilt. In fact, I bought a 40-degree quilt basically for 120 bucks. And if you've ever seen anything from Wilderness Logix, they have an excellent product. So anyway, I've got that out for the first time. I don't expect temps below the probably low 50s at the worst, so that should keep me nice and warm. I've got my puffy just in case. But anyway, and of course I've got my war bonnet Wookie underquilt. And I'll show you some of my other gear as I go along. I always bring my Platypus Gravity Works water filter and some other standards, but I'll go through those later on. Of course, my trusty Leggett Quantum. Love these hiking or trekking poles. I've used these now for about 3 years, and they're my favorite by far. When these things wear out or break, I'll get another pair because I'm really impressed with them. Anyway, I probably need to be quiet, or this video is going to be hours long. I'm not going to spend as much time talking about gear as it seems, but I don't usually mention gear that much, and I didn't want to shortchange my gear or those vendors that sell this stuff. So anyway, southbound on the AT. Looking forward to some beautiful views today once I get up into the Grayson Highlands. God has blessed me with beautiful weather so far, so praise you, Lord, for that. Looking forward to a great day. I think we're about 7/10 of a mile in. I believe these are the Comer Creek Falls. Nice little cascade. Nice little bridge here. Very well done. Looks like it's rushing today. They've had a lot of rain here, I think, which means most of my water sources should be pretty reliable. That's coming off that little ridge walk we just came through. Anyway, feeling good. It's about 65 degrees. Pretty humid, of course, as it always is here in the southeast. But looking forward to a good day. More later. Well, here I go. About 5 miles in. Haven't had a whole lot, in fact, haven't had any views really. Just a couple of small creeks. I just passed the Hurricane Mountain Shelter. I didn't bother to film it. It looks like it was a little Blue Blaze Trail, probably 2/10 of a mile up. My nephews, who I gave the shout out to at the beginning of this video, have decided they want to come hike the AT so they can stay in a shelter. They think that'd be the coolest thing ever. So I suspect sometime in the near future I'll get them out here and get them up to the shelters. Anyway, first 3.5, maybe 4 miles of that was really either downhill or ridge walking, a little valley walk. Not a lot of climbing. Then probably a gradual half-mile climb out of the valley, and then the real climb began. It was a little logging road. Came straight up the side of the mountain, basically. Surprisingly steep for a logging road. I'd hate to bring a logging truck up and down that road. Anyway, as my buddy Shug would say, I brought the stink out in me. No, I did finally sweat. And I actually ate something. I made the mistake, and I want to go ahead and tell you folks this right now. If you're coming this way, coming to Hike-Dickey Gap from North Carolina, I would say Wilkesboro, North Carolina is your last real shot at a decent meal. I didn't pass any restaurants of any sort. One little country restaurant looked like it might have been closed. That was just over the Virginia line. Didn't see anything else. There's nothing in Troutdale. I mean, nothing. That's a little crossroads town. So anyway, I had intended to eat before I got on the trail. Unfortunately, I had nothing to eat. So far this morning, I've had a strip of beef jerky and a kind bar. Probably 400 calories total. Bet you I've burned 1,000 at least already, so I'm already in a calorie deficit. Anyway, I'll keep trying to eat more and more food. The trail this morning has pretty much been paralleling, or at least running near, Comer's Creek. You can probably hear it in the background. It's off to my left, and that rhododendron thicket down there. Beautiful morning. You'll occasionally see a sunbeam burst through the the cover and the clouds, but pretty much overcast as far as I can tell. I've been in the green tunnel all morning, but the forecast had a chance of rain this morning, so I'm blessed so far. Anyway, I'm going to put this up, keep pumping it. Hopefully I'll get a decent view pretty soon and I can tell you about it. Well, back there is the Virginia 605 intersection. I just came across there. According to my map, that's about 9 miles. I did that 2 hours and 45 minutes. It's not a bad hike. Once you get over Hurricane Mountain, pretty easy downhill. Nothing spectacular going on scenery-wise, though. Pretty much the green tunnel. I am told that I'm heading into some of those barren areas where I should be able to get a view. And I don't imagine I'm going to do a whole lot of filming until I do. I want to save as much battery life, but I also don't want to take up unnecessary video time just showing you a bunch of rhododendron and a bunch of mountain laurel. So it is beautiful. It's part of God's creation and I love it. I'm going to stop here shortly, take a little break. I'm just going to stop back at the road, but there's too many people back there. Stop, take a nice little break, camel up, then head on up. Probably try to do 14 or so before lunch. Give me an easy afternoon of 5 or 6. Anyway, good stuff. Well, after about a 2 mile, maybe 2.5 mile climb out of Virginia 605, looks like I've crested. And look at this. Of course, that's the horse gate. Our cattle gate. See some folks up there on top of that rock. These are the Grayson Highlands. These are the views I was hoping for. The mountains over there. I think I've got about, I don't know, 7 or 8 Thomas Knott shelter. It's not even 11:30, well, it's just 11:30 now. Making good time. Should make it there. I'm gonna stop for a good long lunch and I still should make it there. Scales is 1.5 miles. I think I'm gonna stop there and have lunch. They've got a pit toilet there and they've also got a garbage can. I can throw my garbage away after I eat. Anyway, beautiful up here. I'll check in with you later. Coming up on Scales, I believe. Yep. Looks like that's the privy over there. Morning. Take a little break here, have a nice little lunch, and I'll head on back toward Thomas Knott. Can check it in a while. Again, here we are at Scales. Just met a nice couple from DC. They are going to be hiking southbound, heading the same way I'm heading. I'll pass them on the trail in a little while. There's the pit toilet. Garbage cans in there, by the way. That's perfect. Scales, of course, is named after the fact that this used to be a livestock scales location. And, well, we'll talk more about that later when I'm on the trail. I need to get back out there. Take a look at this view. Kind of reminds me of the Sierras. I mean, obviously the Sierras are barren and much higher, but you can see everything. And it's gorgeous. Got a view all around. Oh, by the way, I saw some pony droppings back there, which means there are ponies around somewhere. Can't wait to find them. There's some cows on the hillside over there. I passed them earlier, but I just didn't video them. That's my problem. Hike that way. Later. Well, it was the rhodo up top, and now the mountain laurel. This is a beautiful field of mountain laurel. Coming all over. Look at this. Full of flowers. Heading toward Massey Gap. Talk to you later. There we go. Grayson Highland State Park, welcome to Wilburn Ridge. It says that the ponies here are managed by the Wilburn Ridge Pony Association. They assist in consuming negative vegetation such as briars, hawthorns, and cat greenbrier. The grazing aids in maintaining open spaces and bald rock outcropping. For the safety of both you and the ponies, please do not feed or harass them in any way. Do not walk or stand behind them. They do kick and bite. I hope I see some soon. Well, no ponies yet, but some spectacular views. I did just hear a pony whinny there. Or neigh. One of the two. Hope you can hear me. It's kind of windy up here. Gorgeous. About 15 and a half in. 4.5 to go, I think, to the shelter. Wait a second. No, I'm 16 and a half in. A lot of gradual climbing. Not a lot of steep climbing, but man, some long ascents. Probably climbed 2.5 miles since I left the last water source. Okay, watch where I'm going. Blazes are on the stones up here. I'm hoping to spot a pony pretty soon. Though I just came across a couple that had been were hiking northbound. They came this way a little while ago. They hadn't seen any ponies. But now I've seen lots of fresh droppings, so there's pony dung all over the place. There's got to be a pony somewhere. I'll check in with you later. I'm going to find a pony, and when I do, I'll film it. Well, looky what I found. Me and every person up here, I think. But it's ponies. Got about 2.5 miles to the Thomas Knob shelter. And I might stop here. Hang out with the ponies for a little while. I got plenty of time, guys. It's barely 2:30. Anyway, I'll get you some close-ups when I get there. You know the view. I'm coming There's a full. Oh, sorry. Didn't mean to scare you. I guess I should turn. This little guy let me pet him. He was a little skittish at first, but Mom said it was okay, so I was able to pet him. And all these guys, they're all doing really well. And I just found out that the little road over there comes out of the state park. You can actually hike out of the state park up here, so I may very well bring Pam up here on Monday. I think she would love to see the horses. Come on, buddy. Come on. Anyway, here's our signage. Recent Highland State Park. Wow, State Park has a lot in it. Alright, I gotta stop doing this or I'm gonna run out of room. Another beautiful, beautiful view. Had a good visit with the ponies. A lot of fun. I'm gonna hopefully bring Pam back up Monday. I think she'd love it. Alright, I gotta put this back up. More later. I'm never gonna get to the shelter because I keep seeing horses. This is awesome. I'll tell you what, I was just telling a young lady that I passed coming down the trail. She's hiked the Whitney Trail. I was telling her how this reminded me of the Sierra. She commented that she told her boyfriend the same thing. That last 2 miles, man, straight uphill and nothing but boulders. Anyway, look at these good-looking horses. Alright, this is it. One last view before I get to the shelter. Plenty of herd down there. Every one of these little peaks we've come over. Could have skirted the perimeter, but no! It's alright. This means you earn that rest at the shelter. Sorry. Anyway. Alright, that's it. No more views until the shelter. Well, I know I told you I was going to start filming again when I got to the shelter, but I kept going. I felt pretty good. It was only 21 miles. I kind of like to get at least 23 in today, so. But now look at this view. Woo! Gorgeous. And look what I see on the horizon. More ponies. Awesome. Can't wait. I'll film them when I get up close. Look at this. Wow. Hey everybody. I noticed this is the first herd that I've seen with no foals. I wonder if that's intentional. I wonder if that's like population control or something. I don't know. This is probably a yearling. Oh, I got a buddy coming to see me. Hey, buddy. Hey, dude. Hey, buddy. See you. Well, it's about 6:45. I've been in camp at Deep Gap for about 30 minutes. Got a little bit of a rainstorm coming in. Thank the Lord, I got my tarp deployed just in time. So I cooked my hamburger under the tarp. Now I already had one. I'm going to try to eat another one. I usually can't eat much on the trail, but I banged out 23 miles today. I need to try to get as many calories into my body as I can. It's been a good evening. Good day. Wow. A lot of horse pictures. You guys will see those when I post this. I'm just so thrilled to get a chance to see them out in the wild for the first time and to be able to interact with them. That was really so neat. Let me show you around camp a little bit here. One of the ridge runners told me this used to be the Deep Gap shelter, but they took the shelter down several years ago, moved the shelter on up the mountain to that Thomas Knob shelter that I was going to stay near. But anyway, they still left a really nice site down here. Nice site for tent camping as well as hammock camping. In fact, this is the perfect hammock site. Show you my setup. Here's my stove, and of course my beer canister. I'm using the little BRS titanium stove. It's one of my more fuel efficient stoves, and it's also light as can be. And then I've got my Toaks titanium pot, Toaks titanium cup. Sorry, you can't see those. Packet Gourmet. And these are the All-American burgers. Man, I'm telling you, this is one of their best meals. It's really thick chunks of dehydrated and rehydrated beef. You put it on a tortilla, a couple of packs of ketchup, and it is scrumptious. Got my crushed Pringles, a la Andrew Skirka. Those are good. So I've got a hamburger and potato chips for dinner tonight. I'll have to find some water pretty soon. There's a spring near here, but I'm not exactly sure where it is, and I'm not going to venture out tonight. You can probably hear the thunder coming in. Looks like it's coming over the mountain. The storm is. So I imagine it's going to get pretty wet pretty soon here. But I'm going to hunker down. Should be just fine in my trusty old hammock gear all-weather tarp. In fact, I might actually collect some water coming off the tarp. Fill my water bottle up. Who knows? Anyway, God has given me a wonderful day. I thank Him for this. I thank Him especially for the ponies, for the opportunity to see them. Looking forward to a good day tomorrow. I'll probably check in first thing in the morning. I don't think I'll check in anymore tonight. Anyway, good night and God bless. Well, I hope you can see me. It's Sunday morning, about 6:15. Got up about 5 o'clock, maybe 5:09. Good breakfast of granola and hot chocolate. Cameled up with a lot of water. I took my camp down before I had a chance to show you everything, but everything's kind of wet and soggy this morning because of all the rain we had last night. But anyway, good night's sleep. I slept really well. I was only up one time last night and had a good night in the woods. Kind of warm. I've never really had to go to my puffy or even my long sleeve base layer, so feels good. Gut Hook says I've got about 27 miles to Damascus, so I don't know, may try to hit it today, maybe not. Depends on how the climbs are. But at the very worst, hopefully, Lord willing, I'll be probably 4 or 5 miles from Damascus in the morning when I head that way. Anyway, I'll check in with you later on. I don't think we're going to have a lot of views today. I was looking at the Gut Hook guide, and very few views. I'm past all the balds and everything, and I don't think I'm going to see any horses today, so all the more reason to hustle up the mountain. Anyway, check in soon. Well, I'm in a nice natural little meadow here. Well, I say natural. One time it was probably cleared, but I have seen some fresh cow dung, so obviously there are cows in here. I heard one mooing in the distance, but haven't seen anything yet. Beautiful morning, wow. Probably already in the mid-60s, and nice cool breeze blowing across this little meadow. Man, it feels great. About a mile, I guess, out of Deep Gap. I don't know, probably a couple miles by now. Easy hiking so far, mostly downhill. Still a lot of rocks, I'll tell you what. I know Pennsylvania is called Rocksylvania, but Virginia's got a lot of rocks too. At least this section of it. And that section of McAfee Knob that we did had a lot of rocks. But anyway, let me turn this thing around, I'll give you a panorama. There we go. I imagine this is what the Highlands looks like, or look like. Got that mist over the heather. No, we don't have any heather out here, obviously. Beautiful. Loving it. Thank you, Lord. I tell you what, I feel good this morning. Legs feel good. That back pain that I had at the beginning of the week has subsided, and I'm just thanking the Lord for my health. Man, I tell you, it's great. I'll check in later on. I don't know that I'll get a whole lot of views, like I said earlier, but if I do get a view, you'll get to see it. This is why the dung looks so fresh. I came up that little rise and boom, here we are. Little herd up here. That one's kind of silhouetted by the tree. Anyway, here's our wild livestock. The deer right in front of me, staring dead at me. I'm trying to get a little closer so you can see it. Oh no! Oh man. Anyway, another one of these beautiful little meadows up here. Yeah, I wanted to say, I completely forgot to finish my conversation about scales. Scales gets its name from livestock scales that were established, I don't know, I didn't even check the data on that. But anyway, once upon a time, farmers and ranchers used to keep their cattle up here, and they would take their cattle down the mountain, and when they got down to the base of the mountain, they'd sell their cattle. Problem was, they were weighing their cattle. After having taken them down the mountain, the cattle had lost weight, and they were worth less money. So some bright farmer got the idea, you know what? Let's start weighing these cows up on the mountain. We'll shuttle them down from there, and hence the name scales. So, for those of you that wanted to know. Checking in from the trail, about 6.5 miles in, I believe. A couple of little ups and downs, nothing too severe. A lot of rocks, a lot of roots. You have to be vigilant when you're walking. Here's another trail nugget for you. Just something to ponder. Life is kind of like the trail, because you really can't, in fact you can't choose the kind of surface that you're going to get to hike on. This trail has a lot of roots, classic example, and a lot of rocks. And this is nothing compared to what the trail is like for the most part. And I know the folks that have hiked the AT, especially those that have hiked Pennsylvania, are laughing at these rocks, but there's a lot of rocks around. But anyway, you can't select the trail. You just have to take the trail as it comes to you. And I have learned, the more positive my attitude is about it, the more easy it is to navigate. And, obviously the less I dread it. Now, like life, sometimes we simply can't choose what life's going to bring to us. All we can do is take it one day at a time, take it in stride with our faith, allow God to lead us through it, and have a positive attitude. That's another thing that I've learned, one immutable fact in my life. Positive self-talk, and positive attitude. 90% of your battle as a human. Anyway, heading toward White Top Mountain, I believe, in a little while. I don't know, maybe an hour, hour and a half or so. I'll intersect the Virginia Creeper Trail for the first time. I think there are 2 or 3 times that we intersect the trail, and then I believe we run concurrent with the trail for a little while. But when I get some views or whatever, I'll check in with you again. Well, I just met my first set of through hikers. I thought maybe I was through with those. I thought they had already passed north of me. But these guys, Hootie Hoo, the young lady, and Big Tent, the young man, said that they had to get off the trail for a little while. I'm presuming injury issues, or I don't know, who knows, maybe family issues. But anyway, they are northbound. I gave them some advice about the trail, and their dog, this is what I wanted to mention, their dog's name is Caroline. They said that they found her along the trail in North Carolina. So they decided to adopt her, and they had a nice little doggy pack on her, and she's going to follow them all the way to Katahdin. They're doing 15 miles a day, so that should be okay on Caroline. Anyway, nice young couple. I pray that they'll do just fine. 4 3/4 probably to Saunders Shelter, and then I've got a decision to make. Obviously, I'm not going to stay there. Heck, I'm going to be there at lunchtime, so that puts me about 4 hours ahead of schedule. I can go on into Damascus and stay in a hostel there, but doggone it, I wanted to spend 2 nights on the trail. So there's a campsite about 7/10 of a mile from Damascus. Just a stealth site. I may camp there, and then that'll put me, 15 minutes into Damascus in the morning, and I can walk on in and have a big breakfast. Or I don't know. I've never stayed in an AT hostel. I have stayed in hostels before traveling, and when I was much younger, but I don't know. Might give it a shot. They said they stayed at Woodchuck Hostel last night, and the guy was very accommodating and had an amazing breakfast, so they were very complimentary of that. Might do it, I don't know. Got plenty of time to think about it, though. I'm not going to be there until at least late afternoon. But it gives me something to think about. I've been hiking beside this little stream for about the last hour. No, not that. Probably the last 40 minutes. The funny thing is, I filled up and basically just, a 2-inch stream watered up there because I thought, oh man, I'm never going to get to water again, because I was dry. Hiking through a dry section for about 6 miles. But, anyway, I filled up, literally hiked to the top of a little crest, started down the crest, and then that's when I started following this little stream. So, kind of seems to be my luck. But you know what? I've got tons of water. Doesn't really matter where I got it from. Anyway, I'm going to push on pretty hard. Got, again, a little less than 4 3/4 now to Saunders Shelter. Once I get there, Once I get there, I'll take the shoes off, treat those hot spots, have a nice long lunch. I think I'm going to have some mashed potatoes for lunch. I'm craving that for some reason. Mashed potatoes and maybe a piece of beef jerky. That sounds really good. And then I'll decide what I want to do this afternoon. Look at all these beautiful blooming rhodos. Absolutely gorgeous. Interesting. It seems down, I don't know what my elevation is now. I'm going to say probably mid-20s, probably 2,500 or so. No laurel down here, no mountain laurel. It's all rhododendron. But looking good, feeling good. Looking forward to getting to Saunders Shelter and taking a little bit of a break. Well, here is my first intersection with the Creeper Trail. I'll be coming this way Tuesday morning with my lovely wife. I'll stay on here for a little while because I think the creek's going to cross under right down here. Now, of course, I could take the Creeper Trail all the way into Damascus and cheat, but I won't do that. I'd love to, only because it's such a beautiful trail. I would see more of it and enjoy more if I were walking, because I kind of book it down on my bike most of the time. Surprise, surprise. Anyway, here's where the creek crosses. Isn't that gorgeous? Parking right over there, I guess. There we go. There's the view we're looking for. I don't think I'll be on the trail long, but I'm going to enjoy it while I'm here. Later. Here's a view I wasn't expecting. Beautiful little pond up here. I think the Black Alaskan said he caught some fish in here. Primarily sunfish, of course, but beautiful little pond. Wonder, must have been a homestead up here once upon a time. It's feeding in from right up here. Here's the bullfrog croaking. Up. Got, I don't know, 2.5 miles probably to the Saunders shelter. And big decision. Well, if you can hear me, obviously I did not stop at Saunders shelter. I'm in Damascus. It's about almost 4 o'clock on Sunday. Counted out about 26.5 miles today. Tired. Tell you what, man. Didn't really start getting any climbs until today. And really, just before lunch. I'm gonna go down. I think I'm gonna go to Sundog Outfitters and get some sandals. I completely forgot to bring any kind of water shoes, and normally that's what I'd wear off trail. There's the sign. Damascus. Corporate limits. And I think I'm going to try Woodchuck Hostel tonight. See if I can get us there. Well, good morning. It's Monday morning. I had the pleasure of spending the night in the Woodchuck Hostel last night. It's still pretty early, and I have some roommates, bunkmates downstairs. I don't want to wake anybody, but I just wanted to say that it's been a wonderful night, and I'll show you a little more of the hostel later on and give you some idea of the amenities here. Got into Damascus 4:15 yesterday. Came on over, had no problem. Chuck hooked me up with the room, and I'm really pleased with it so far. Check in later. Good morning again. Here I am at Woodchuck Hostel on a beautiful Monday morning in Damascus. Nice little place, I tell you. Chuck does a great job. Again, very accommodating. Loves hikers, obviously. He said 2 years ago he thru hiked, fell in love with this area. He's originally from Montana and decided that he wanted to support his love for hiking and also support hikers. So he moved to Damascus and bought this home and renovated it and made a really nice hostel out of it. I've been really impressed with everything so far. Let me show you around a little bit. There's kind of a little overflow area. It's a garage that he's also converted into some bunk space. It's got a tent here. There's a pavilion out back. You actually can hang some hammocks back there. You get the main hostel here. And then I met a young fellow from Chicago who's actually staying in the teepee back there. I mean, they have a literal teepee. You see it. Let me give you a little panorama of what the surrounding landscape looks like. Just kind of nestled in a little neighborhood back here. But look, this is just surrounded by the beautiful mountains. Obviously, you can see why Damascus is called Trail Town, USA. Right here in this little valley. Pam's on her way up. She's going to spend the night with me here at the hostel also. We're going to ride up today and see the ponies and come back tonight for the fireworks, and then we're going to hit the trail tomorrow, do the Creeper Trail. Loving it, I tell you. Wow, this is just beautiful. I'm just really, really pleased with this whole trip. I thank the Lord for every part of it. I suspect this will be my last posting for this video. I may create just a small video for the Creeper Trail tomorrow, maybe even for the fireworks in Damascus tonight. I don't know. This may be signing off and it may not. Bodge in the Woods, out. Okay, I can tell I'm going to have a few more videos today. The trail comes out of Tennessee, down this mountain, down this side street, and into the town of Damascus. And I know everybody in every thru hiker's vlogs have seen the Appalachian Trail Welcome to Damascus sign. This is a beautiful little park, all bedecked in flags and paraphernalia related to the celebration of our independence. Looking forward to fireworks tonight. I've seen fireworks all over the U.S., but I think I'm looking forward to this most of all. Just a very serene, tranquil setting, and wow, beautiful Monday morning. Imagine the temps are in the low 60s. Creek running just off the right of the park here. Anyway, I wanted you guys to see a little bit of Damascus and a little bit of what the hikers see when they first come into town.